Hello. Kingdom Hearts is the thing that this video. So I don't have the mic. I'm using the regular boom mic for this one. I needed like my hands to I have notes. I have like real notes. Kingdom Hearts. Weird series and an exceptionally weird first game. I'm surprised any of this got greenlit. It's probably the most unique-ish game in the series in terms of like story and presentation, because a lot of the stuff that it starts gets either heavily adapted later on, things like music, which is built on, the characters are expanded and the world is expanded, but some things are just dropped. I mean, that's the case with everything. Recently I was playing Ratchet and Clank on the Steam Deck. Amazing experience, and I have this gnawing feeling that it just kind of sucks. It's not very good. Not true. It is pretty good. It's just that there are a lot of things that like don't work. Like you're playing certain missions and there's just slightly too many enemies, and it's a bit overwhelming, and it doesn't exactly work the way that the developers intended, and then by the time that you get to the second game, all of those things have been improved, and they're tightening the screws a little bit. Kingdom Hearts 1 is that to an extreme. I mean, for one, the gameplay that Kingdom Hearts 1 has doesn't really show up anywhere else. Aesthetically it does. You know, the things, the je ne sais quoi that makes Kingdom Hearts 1 gameplay Kingdom Hearts 1 gameplay. Like, painfully slow navigation of the menu, summons just being really weird, Sora being nailed to the floor every time you jump. And that weird ending lag that he has when he lands. It's both thrilling to experience from the perspective of somebody playing the game from the first time, and it's also just a terrible experience, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. So I mostly want to talk about just Kingdom Hearts 1, and specifically Kingdom Hearts 1 from the perspective of, like, in retrospect. Not in retrospect. My current personality and my current knowledge base, but I'm excluding every other game in the series, because there's a lot of stuff that just kind of disappeared, or like was retconned or something, or things that both hinder and work in the game's favor because of things that happened later, which I'll get to. And I've done this before, and I said that I was gonna, wow, it got dark really for a second. I said that I was gonna talk just about Kingdom Hearts 1, and it was gonna be really focused, but it's a messy series, and you end up talking about a lot of things for a lot of different reasons, so I am gonna have to talk about a lot of different stuff. But I do want to make videos on the other games because I have a lot to say, specifically Dream Drop Distance. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Dream Drop Distance for like 1 second. I made a joke in one of my videos. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was at the time when I was playing Dream Drop Distance. I have 100% of the games, by the way. I feel like I should point that out. And I made a joke, sarcastically, about Dream Drop Distance being the best Kingdom Hearts game, or at least my favorite. And someone in the comments was, and I feel really mean now, they're like, finally, somebody speaks the truth, that Dream Drop Distance is a really good game. I hate it. I think it's one of the worst games I think I've ever played. And that's not entirely the game's fault. Much of it comes from the desire to 100% it, and it does not lend itself well to that. It is a miserable experience to try and, receive all of what it's giving. So, that was weird. Why... Cut that. Yep. I'm just gonna change the framing of the video on the fly. And the focal length. And the exposure. I mean, it's not like you need those things to be the same, and I'm also going to keep that there. That was the standard for my face. I'm filming this alone. Am I keeping it there specifically so that you can appreciate the bokeh that I'm painfully setting up? Yes. Yes, I am. I never get to do this. Green screen ruins all of this. I have so much stuff that I can use. I went to film school. I got credits. That wasn't that good. I was busy with other things. So, the first game. One of the things that I was thinking about a lot playing it or at least all the games in sequence, was uh, the drama of it, I guess. Like, the dramatic flair of it. All of the games have some kind of drama, but in the first game, it's very grandiose. And it happens in spurts, but it's very almost ever present. It reframes a lot of the other parts of the game. So, I mean, all the Disney worlds are pretty, I gotta find my friends. Let's, bounce on balloons or whatever. But the start and the end of the game in particular kind of stand out. For one, Dive to the Heart is the most dramatic in this game, in my opinion. The way that it's framed and set up is excellent. I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the best openings of any game ever. And it feels like there is some kind of intentionality to a lot of it, like the fact that the words that are spoken to Sora in his heart are actually King Mickey. But I feel like it's difficult to know exactly, but I believe that I choose to believe that those words are silent in order to not cheapen the moment with the fact that King Mickey sounds like Mickey Mouse. And those words coming out of his mouth don't really work, as proven by Kingdom Hearts 2 when Goofy, spoilers, dies. And Mickey's like, they'll pay for this.
They'll pay for this.
What are you doing, buddy? I mean, for the most part, that entire sequence is perfect. And it's one of the best versions of Destati, in my opinion. I don't think it gets much better than that. Although there are other things, like it feels like there's supposed to be this distinction or this disparity between, like, it's this really kind of dark and Sora gets swallowed by darkness, and the thing being said to him is like, don't give up hope. Like, this is going to be really difficult for you. You need to, like, steel yourself for this, which feels very dramatic in a way that the other games are not. And then it's supposed to, like, have this juxtaposition with his actual life, what he's experiencing and what's real, and then he questions whether it's a dream. But the actual, in practice, real life effect of that is the Destiny Islands song, which is someone going crazy on a metal drum synth. I mean, really going to town. There is a passion in that song I have not heard since. So, it's a little goofy. Pun intended. So that doesn't always work, but I do appreciate it. And it's like, there are those hints of craft that show up in the dramatic moments. The best it ever gets is at the end of the game, where you get to End of the World, which, by the way, crazy name. And it does fit into the JRPG theme of, let's kill these little guys. I gotta save my friends. And then you're fighting a god, like an actual deity in the lore. You arrive there, and it's this culmination of everything. It really works with the music of the Gummy missions, where it's the same song, but it just gets, like, faster tempo and, like, more instruments and, like, more urgency is added. And you finally arrive there, and it is unlike anything you've ever seen. Hollow Bastion was intimidating with the amount of stars and stuff and all of the music that it had. And then you get to End of the World, and it's just like a black hole. Like something that you couldn't even comprehend was going to be in the game when you started it. And you arrive, and Sora's like, A, what is this? What happens to us if we win? Like, where does this stuff go? Like, this is the... There's a lot of, like, abstraction in the games, which I'll talk about later. Specifically in this one, it's really strong. And at times it does kind of work against the game, where they say, like, lost to darkness. And it works, but it doesn't work that well. Like, the consequences of failure. And then you get to End of the World, and this is it. Like, everything that you have been fighting against is here right now. It's the echoes of destroyed worlds. It's the closest you've ever come to the world of darkness. And it's one of the only times in the game that you find what's called pure blood harvest. I'm looking this up. So, End of the World is I mean, this is something if you're paying attention to like the lore notes. Actually, maybe not. I don't even know if it's in the lore notes this early. But there's two types of Heartless: Pure Blood and Emblem. And emblems are like artificial. They're the ones that actually have the Heartless emblem. It's the reason why Ansem has the symbol. Fake Ansem. And it's one of the few times in the game where you're just fighting Pure Blood Heartless, which just, they can only really show up in either the realm of darkness or worlds that are close to darkness. So as you're going further in, you're getting a more pure form of darkness, and that's what you're fighting. It really hits what failure means. It's so obvious that you're going to win, and it's so like, that's what the game is about, and that's the purpose and all that. But then when you get there, it's like, well, this is what we're fighting. Like, actually what we're fighting. And it also works in a different way, because all of the story threads, and this is something that Kingdom Hearts 2 does the opposite of, when you get to End of the World, everything's wrapped up. Everything's done. You have nothing else to do. You have no one left to talk to. It's you've saved Kairi. You've done the thing that Sora set out to do at the start of the game. You're over. I was spitting bars there for a second. It's so focused. You drop in to End of the World like SEAL Team 6. You arrive, and the only thing you have to do is stop Ansem. That's it. That's the only thing left. There's no one that's there waiting for you to give you a lore dump or some other random stuff, like Kingdom Hearts 3 does. You get there with the objective to defeat Ansem, and it is the only thing you accomplish afterwards. So it has this really focused kind of energy to it, which I really do like. It makes the entire world and the entire lead up feel very complete as a finale to the game. And the music. This is why I had to look it up. The song is called Guardando nel buio, which is means like into darkness or something. It's in Italian, so if I read that wrong, I don't care. And it's the song that's actually playing when you're fighting Ansem, fake Ansem, in his weird little battleship phase. It's difficult to pin that man down. It has a lot more drama to it, and while I very much, I think, fight to the death, and the song after it in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you're fighting Xemnas is, I think it's a better song, and I listen to it more frequently. There is something about Kingdom Hearts 1 and that fight where it is, I mean, it's dramatic to the point of like not even being a game soundtrack anymore, which does happen later in the series. In specific, the Roxas fight has that soundtrack, which does not feel like it should be a fight, like a boss battle music at all, and it works so well. And I think it works pretty well here too. The actual like visuals of that fight though do kind of leave a little bit to be desired. He's like this weird, goofy thing. Maybe it was just like being on the PlayStation 2, and there's like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of models and a lot of textures being loaded, so maybe it's like a level of detailed thing. But I don't. I'm just thinking about the battleship, and I'm speaking about this. And if you've not played Kingdom Hearts, it makes it seem like this dramatic affair where it just crescendos towards the end, and it kind of doesn't. There's a weird battleship. There's a reason why they didn't bring that back. Wow, there's a reason why they didn't bring that back in like boss fights. But as I mentioned before, a lot of those musical themes, specifically a lot of the boss stuff, and a lot of the boss stuff is like reinterpreted later on. But a lot of the tracks are just kind of adapted directly. It's a mix between like a remastered and a remake, specifically with stuff like Arabian Dream. I can look this up because I have it in front of me. One of the songs on this album is called Holy Bananas with an exclamation point. I'm going to play it. That's enough of that. Arabian Dream is the fight music for Agrabah. And it's a good track. It's fine. And then Kingdom Hearts 2 takes it and it keeps a lot of the same stuff and expands it further. The battle music in Kingdom Hearts 2 in general is a lot better. It has a lot more progression of the song, and it goes different places and has different feels to it throughout the 1 minute looping section. Kingdom Hearts 1 is a bit generic, but at the same time, they didn't entirely know what the game was going to be at that point, so I don't blame them. But that is really interesting, where a lot of the much more complex and memorable songs that happen in later Kingdom Hearts games find their roots here. And why that is very interesting and very fun, there's a reason why it was remastered and readapted, and there's a lack of boss music in the game, which I find remarkably funny for how many there are. It's a lot more difficult to talk about in retrospect because just how much of it has been it has this gigantic casualty rate for plot lines and character motivations, and it's also just kind of written poorly. It's written really poorly sometimes. A big one is, for me, this is something I only found out kind of recently, 2 days ago. So I was looking up the Keyblade. So a big question that a lot of people have, including myself, was, is the Keyblade unique? Because in the first game, Leon talks about the Keyblade as if it is a singular object, and that it has unique powers, and that it has a will of its own. All of which is still true. Except, the Keyblade, capital The and capital Keyblade, is a separate unique entity that belongs to Sora, as compared to the other Keyblades. Keyblades, still capital K, lowercase the. So the Keyblade, that belongs to Sora, is unique, and it does choose people, and it can be earned. Kind of. It's vague. And it has the unique ability to lock the keyholes in each world, which makes the Heartless unable to take it or consume it, even if Heartless are still there. It is also, I believe, maybe other Keyblades can do this, it is the Keyblade that can not completely defeat... Well, yes, it completely defeats Heartless, and it sends their heart back to wherever it goes, Kingdom Hearts or whatever. Whereas other Keyblades, the ones that you see other people wield by Keyblade Masters, are forged by those Keyblade Masters after years or months or whatever of training. They are kind of like artificial weapons in the visual representation of the Keyblade, which is a different thing. Sorry, I'm losing light at an alarming rate. So, in the game that you play, and you're ingesting it normally, Sora reaches out, and in a moment of hope and desperation, he receives the Keyblade. And he wields it, and that's what he's known as. He's known as the Keyblade wielder. We also know that he's pure of heart, and he's a really nice guy, and that's his entire character. So, that makes sense. Later on, Riku, with the power of darkness in his heart, having fallen, heroes fall and all that kind of stuff, after being manipulated by what we now know as Future Ansem. We just know him as Ansem at this point. He takes the Keyblade, and his friends have to leave him. And it is the low point of the hero's journey. And even then, Sora perseveres. He still has to fulfill his promise and save Kairi, and Beast needs his help, and he rallies. And it is his moment of strength, and that, in turn, earns the Keyblade back. The way that the story sets that up, and the way that it's said, and the way people talk, is Riku uses darkness as his power, which is hollow, fake, and fickle. We see it literally 30 minutes later. Maybe 2 hours, it depends. Holy Bastion's kind of a hard level. Because it is darkness, and because it is this, and because it is that, betrayal and consumption when something has ended its usefulness is really common. It's that kind of trope. So the implication being, Ansem has said, if you give yourself to darkness, the Keyblade will be yours, because you will be strong enough. In his head, he knows that the Keyblade cannot truly be swayed permanently from its rightful owner. It can only be tricked. And that's what he's doing. He's getting Riku to trick the Keyblade, and then when it fails, Riku says, I thought I had the power, and then Ansem's like, you did, oh my god, you were so great. Give all of yourself to darkness. Let me take control, and then you will have the Keyblade, and then you will save Kairi. And he's tricking him, as a manipulator does. It makes sense. That's the thing that... And it works. I think that's a great plot point. As it turns out, the actual plot, according to the creator, is that Riku is the actual Keyblade wielder. He is the rightful Keyblade wielder from the start of the game. And that reaching out part that Sora does is actually him touching Riku's heart, which gives him possession of the Keyblade for a bit, like taking his car keys. Can Riku bequeath it? How many questions does this open up? It's a really weird thing that like punishes you for ingesting like the diegetic information and like interpreting things. And this is something that this Kingdom Hearts fails with a lot. When they say something, anything, no matter how crazy it is the truth. Characters in this world are like so unable to lie. It's very strange. Xehanort from like Birth by Sleep is seen as like this manipulator and this like master manipulator. And in reality, he's just kind of like saying half-truths. Like he's not even a liar. It's very strange, and I do not like it. It makes you it feels bad to interpret things.
Quick sidebar. I know this video is like an hour long. There's still things that I'm thinking of while I am playing the game to get footage for this video. I'll mention it in another video. But on this topic, when you get to Neverland, there is a cutscene where Riku is talking about Kairi missing her heart, and Maleficent says, well, if she's missing her heart, then you must take control of the darkness. You must gain power and help me in my evil deeds in order to get access to Kingdom Hearts, where all hearts are born and lie. And that is true. She is completely correct in her assessment. If Kairi does not have a heart, then logically it would be found at Kingdom Hearts. And she isn't even misleading Riku into thinking that it's less of a bad cause than it is. He's kidnapped Pinocchio. Like, he is down for the cause. He says it at some point in some cutscene where he's like, I will do whatever it takes to get this done. I do not care about anything else or anyone else other than my friends. She would not even need to lie to him. She is telling him to do evil things, and he is willing to do them. Even when she is throwing up all of the red flags of being a manipulator, like calling Riku a son, or almost a son to her, like, I really care about you, I'm not just using you. That's true. Like, she's genuinely just being nice, if for some reason. She and Ansem go through all of the steps of manipulation, and yet do not really manipulate him. It is only at the very end, when Riku gets Naughted, which we'll discuss eventually, Naughted being the past tense of Naughting, which is to be taken over by Xehanort. Up until that exact point, I'm pretty convinced that Riku at the start of the game would have done everything up until that point. He gets, like, actually lied to once, like seriously once, and he just turns into like a terrorist from that point onward. It's crazy. And transition to the video.
That is, I don't think that's ever been mentioned again. I don't think it's been mentioned more than once. It is at this point clear, or just established, that Sora is like the Keyblade wielder. He is the only one, and his entire goal after this is like, you need to become a Keyblade master in order to fully use the Keyblade, because you are the Keyblade wielder. Can Riku train and become the Keyblade wielder again? Can he take it back? At what point does the Keyblade... Can it just be, like, change hands like that? Can Roxas become the Keyblade wielder? He's touched Sora's heart. So is Ventus, actually. Could they just become it? It raises questions that don't make any sense, and I think that's been retconned at this point, just by, like, leaving it behind. There are other things, though, like there being multiple Keyblades and what nobodies are that have been retconned, like, intentionally. So it makes it difficult to see the game as it is, because you can't look at Kairi's backstory and be like, oh, and then Aqua moved her, because at this point it didn't exist. So that mystery is still a mystery, and you have to treat it as such. Another thing of weird writing is I've just written down, what are gummy heartless? Because according to the wiki, they are not heartless, they are gummy ships piloted by Heartless. So, the enemies in Kingdom Hearts 2 are heartless. That's why they have faces. That makes more sense. The enemies in Kingdom Hearts 1 that are just like ships, just like little guys. They're apparently, there's like, I assume an emblem heartless just piloting that thing, like with a crosshair and everything and a joystick. I mean, what a crazy thing to say, and just let it slide. The actual heartless in Kingdom Hearts 2, the actual gummy, I'll get someone up. This guy, his name is Driller. He's a heartless in Kingdom Hearts 2. And as you can see, he has the emblem on it, which means he's an emblem heartless, which means something or someone created him. And he's like the size of a planet. So like, what's going on? How do I pass this in the lore of the world? It seems a bit far-fetched, even for the game. Oh, there's also moments like Sora separating his heart from his body. So, one of the reasons why I dislike the Riku heart thing so much is because there is a similar instance in Sora. Kairi is comatose because she doesn't have her heart. And that is one of the driving points, and Ansem uses it as leverage over Riku in order to get certain stuff. In truth, when the world was lost to darkness, Destiny Islands, Kairi flies through Sora in a dramatic moment for like a 12-year-old, and her heart is with him. They are the same. They are kept inside of him. And that is the reason why Kairi will not wake up. Sora realizes this, and in a moment of bravery to complete his character arc for the first game, he sacrifices himself in order to free her. Which works, and it is a good moment. I like it. He becomes heartless, a pureblood heartless, it appears, and he reunites, and with the power of friendship and whatever, he is reborn. He's back. He's back, baby. And it is a good moment. I mean, it's from like a cartoon. It's kind of cheesy, but it works. It's in the tone of the thing that you are playing, so I like it. However, if you were to look at it from now, that is the pivotal catalyst that creates pretty much like half the roster at this point. It creates Roxas, Naminé, and like inspires Shion. Like, Shion probably wouldn't exist if that hadn't happened. Because separating his heart from his body creates both a heartless, which is what you control in the game, and it also creates a nobody, because he is strong-willed. Roxas. Roxas has the body and the soul. Two things you would imagine are important. And when he is brought back, he reforms. Now, when that happens in the game, they just, like, come back. Like, all the nobodies that from Organization 13, after they come back, it is just all of their stuff again. Like, their heart, their body, their soul, they're just real people. Which shows that you can, like, reform people. When that happens, it makes sense if you still say that he was, like, reformed. But in the story, Roxas exists beyond that. Like, he remains. So the way that it's described is if like there was like traces of him within Kairi's heart. Like the split wasn't perfect. And then part of him came back, and the reason why Roxas needs to give himself up at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2 is to complete Sora. It's weird, though, because he doesn't exhibit any traits of being changed after he comes back in Kingdom Hearts 1 because they didn't have that idea yet. When you look at it just as an isolated incident, as a culmination of Sora's character and his friendship with Kairi and all of that, it works. It's goofy, but it works. And then when you look at it in the context of the rest of the series, it doesn't make any sense and it breaks every rule in the book, and you need to write exceptions into the world in order to justify it, and then that's what Chain of Memories is about, and it gets really complicated because we start talking about memories, and Namine has to be here, and she's one of the most convoluted characters I've ever seen in my life, which sucks. It makes the moment bad. But back then I liked it. It was good as a child. The Ansem one, I'll talk about the Ansem retcon being clumsy when I talk about Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's not done well here, by the way. There are things in this that do get, like obviously wouldn't have worked. According to sources, the first secret report on Ansem's thing is written by the real Ansem, and all the other ones are written by imposter Ansem. The first notes still refers to himself as, like, the ruler of this world, which is a crazy thing to say, and it's never brought up again. Like, that's just what you have to deal with. Like, you'll be reading things in this game, playing it through, and it's like, that's never brought up again. That doesn't happen. What are we doing here? There are things that are just wrong with it, like, beyond lore-wise and, like, how it interplays with the other games. Kairi is one of the... She's one of the worst characters I think I've ever seen in my life. Some people like her, and I understand why. You can see things inside of it. I don't know if it's just the game industry or Japanese culture or a combination of the two, but she is really poorly written. She's a plot device at best, and she's kind of sidelined all the time and seen more as like an object of affection occasionally, and it gets... Recently in Kingdom Hearts 3, she got a haircut, and like the new graphics and the new outfit and all that kind of stuff makes her look a lot younger than she does in Kingdom Hearts 2, in a way that feels a little creepy to like witness. And also she just sucks at everything, which I cannot believe they've gotten away with doing this for like 20-something years. She does not do much of anything useful in a way that does not relate to somebody else being useful. It's like... Sure, she brings Sora back, but it's only useful because Sora is useful. She's a Keyblade wielder. She's wielded one for 2 games now, and she still sucks. Let her do something, I swear to God. It took her until the Remind DLC before they gave her anything to do. I want characters in my video games. I don't want her to just stand there. That infuriated me, by the way. Like, when I was young, playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's like, well, all these characters have grown up and we're getting like these real interactions with people, and Kairi is just off somewhere at Destiny Islands for like an unknown amount of time, and then she gets kidnapped again, and then it looks like she's going to be useful with a Keyblade, and then she just isn't. It's very noticeable in this game, because there are even moments at the start of the Holy Bastion like arc, there's a flashback to Kairi's mysterious past where she was on Holy Bastion. And it doesn't relate to her at all. It's not relevant to her existence, but it affects Sora, who is witnessing it. Like, even in her most important in this game, she is still just like a sentient vessel for information. I really dislike it. Riku, on the other hand, gets, like, a billion things to do and to say. Sometimes it doesn't work, or some things that he says don't land for the story or believability because they're so childish. Like, he's so petulant. But that is his character, and it's something that he struggles with, and it's the reason why Maleficent sees an in with him. So I do like that, and it feels like a complete story arc, which I do like, and still somehow sets up Chain of Memories for his redemption, which is the most story development heavy game in the series, and it's done really well. I mean, that's... replaying it, Chain of Memories is more Riku's game than it is Sora's. Like, him having to, like, lean on King Mickey and, like, deal with that is super interesting as, like, as a duo. I've been talking for almost an hour. This is ridiculous. This is probably all going to make it into the video. Metaphor. It's like a simile, but not for cowards. The game uses a lot of them, mostly by accident, it appears, as we would find out later on, where everything gets really, like, descriptive for no reason. And we start getting science and, like, data. Phrases like worlds being lost to darkness has a lot of different meanings in a way that is kind of interesting to dissect. Especially in terms of, like, the context of playing the game and seeing the story of the Disney worlds. So, like, is a world being lost to darkness, like, just, like, hopelessness? Is it like a failure to achieve one's dreams collectively? Is it literally just a mass of Heartless appearing on the world? Or is it something more like destiny based? We go to these Disney worlds and we know how these stories play out because they're Disney movies. So, like, obviously Jafar doesn't win. Obviously Jafar doesn't, become the Sultan or whatever. But if he does win, is that a world being lost to darkness? It's not entirely clear, and it still works as a threat. Although the moment where Donald and Goofy look up and they're like, the stars are going out, and that's like a million people dead. Catastrophe. He's just pointing at it like it's nothing. Jesus Lord. It also makes it easy to breeze past a lot of, like, really complicated points. Things like what Kingdom Hearts is, and, like, what hearts are as, like, a thing. It's much more useful if you don't entirely understand it. And it is what makes it so funny when you get to, like, later games and there's just, like, hearts in, like, test tubes and, like, scrolling on the wall. It's weird. It works better when it's just, like, you defeat, like, at the start in Traverse Town when that guy just, like, dies or whatever, but he, like, disappears and his heart floats off. That works for what the game is at this point and what the series is. A, it's bad, and B, heart go off. It's fine. It works. And God, things get complicated. The Keyblade works better as an abstract as well. I really like it in this game. The mystery behind it, the mystique, the aura around this child with, like, a giant key. The abstract stuff of, like, locking a keyhole in the world has, like, a lot of weird implications. Generally, it's like the fact that the Keyblade can unlock anything is like it's a really fun little detail that I don't think would exist if the game was made later. I really wish they did more stuff like that. Does the Keyblade allow Sora to cast magic? It feels like it does, but then he gets the wooden sword and Holy Bastion, and he can still cast magic. So I wish there was more stuff like that. Like, it was more of an Excalibur type thing, where perhaps its powers aren't clearly defined, but it does all this stuff because it is so powerful and is so ancient, like time immemorial kind of stuff. Like, it's just existed for this long because we don't entirely know when the Keyblade started to exist. Is it part of the Keyblade? Now it's getting really bright. What is its past? What does it do? How does it all work? Is a really fun little thing. And everyone points to the Keyblade and is like, you've got the Keyblade? Like, that kind of stuff. And it really does work. And I really, really do not like Birth by Sleep. Outside of Chain of Memories, I want to say, it has a lot of actual character development, which makes sense. It's the first game, so you have to both define the characters and then they have to go somewhere. So that's... you would expect there to be the most development. And something that I was thinking about was when, in that scene where Riku takes the Keyblade, or when Sora gets it back, that scene probably doesn't happen if it happened at the start of the game. Like, everyone's a lot different, even by that point. Donald and Goofy are obvious examples of them sticking by his friend, but does Sora believe in himself that much this early into the game? Would he fight that hard for what he believes in? Would he believe that he was right that much? It really does end up being about a story of someone who fills the role that is necessary for the world, that does become this savior character because of caring about the small things, his friends and the people around him. The motivations also get a little bit more complicated. I mean, I like Riku's eventual descent. It doesn't entirely like make sense, especially as like an adult now looking at it. But there are scenes like when like Sora's enjoying his time with his friends and Riku's looking at him from the outside, and it seems the most like My Chemical Romance, hands in my pocket outside, it's raining and I'm outside the Arby's. People having fun without me kind of stuff. But he's young. You can hand wave a lot of that stuff away with just like they're really young. Like Sora's fight with Donald is so childish and so stupid, but he is like 6 or something. There are other things that make it really unique, like the gating of certain places behind like items and abilities in a way that the other games don't do, which is really noticeable if you play like randomizer runs, where there's key items and things that you need in order to get past or access more chests and more item drops. A lot of the magic spells are needed to do certain things. It was a weird kind of... You had this level of interaction with the environment, like lucid interaction, that you don't get in other games, and that's, well, other games up until the point of like Kingdom Hearts 3 where it came back a little bit. It is kind of a shame that we lost a lot of that. At the same time, I hate doing that. Anytime I play, it's like the most miserable experience the map layout for Wonderland is so complicated. Again, who's developing this? My God, they need to be reined in. They need to be shown like a map of stuff and just like locked in a room. A lot of the stuff didn't show up again. Kingdom Hearts 2 gets a lot of flack for being like just kind of like enclosed rooms with some kind of verticality. Kingdom Hearts 1 is worse. Not because it's less interesting or because it actually ends up being more boxy, especially there's a scene at End of the World where it's like you're walking through hallways of all this like discarded junk and like stuff that has been lost to darkness, and it is, because it's a PS2 game, it's just like an actual like cylinder with like some decals sticking out because they can't have like displacement maps didn't exist. So it looks like a haunted house. There is a bit more complexity in the levels of Kingdom Hearts 1. It's not just like one long hallway, but that's also really bad. Monstro is... I have played this game for over a decade now. Multiple times, different challenges, randomizer runs. I do not understand Monstro. It confused me as a child, and it confuses me now. I'm glad that never showed up again. What if we got all of the levels, and instead of making it a sequence, we just put them all together? Oh God, Holy Bastion's the same. Are there any good levels? Agrabah's pretty good. Agrabah's a bit more like a tree, where it like splines outwards. Although Cave of Wonder is, oh man, that underground section's like super weird. Oh no, yeah, no, the underground section, I'm ruling out Agrabah now. There's a part in the underground section where like it's not, there's waterfalls, little waterfalls that you would expect would be like the ledges in Pokemon where you can only go one way down it. And that's the challenge. It isn't. Sora could just swim up the waterfall, and it's like not conveyed to you at all. It doesn't put you in a single room where there's no other way to go except up the waterfall to teach you can do it. It just expects you to know. I'm ruling that out. Olympus Coliseum, does that count? Can I choose that as the best world in terms of level design? I don't think so. Neverland's alright, but it just ends up being the same wall and the same doors over and over again. And I'm trying to remember Halloween Town. I think it... Oh, God, but it also has that stupid section where you're jumping through doors. You know what? The best level design in the game is Traverse Town. I don't even care. Also, shout out Destiny Islands when you show up End of the World. I forgot to mention this when I was writing stuff. You show up at the end and it's Destiny Island, and it's just like corrupted and like messed up because it's fallen to darkness. And it's such a great like little loop around to show like what what darkness does to things that you know and how it corrupts them, while at the same time Riku is being corrupted. Very cool. Very, very symbolic. Objectively a worse game than Kingdom Hearts 2 in every way. But there's a lot of weird stuff to it. I don't know if I would recommend people play it. The gameplay is really weird, and I don't like the gameplay at all. And it's weird, and it's bad. And it's really stupid. Last thing worth mentioning, I guess, not really a point. Sora's clothes in Kingdom Hearts 1, he is not wearing red shorts. He's wearing what appears to be a jumpsuit of some kind with short legs. If you look at his design, his jacket is over the top of it. He has like a vest and a jacket. He has a bunch of zippers. But the redness of his shorts goes all the way unobstructed to his chest. So he's just wearing some kind of a onesie. An unbelievable crazy fit. The jacket over the onesie, sneakers, no socks, and fingerless gloves. I got all excited for doing this. I did like actual research because I was confused. And it's given me a good excuse to like actually pay attention to the Kingdom Hearts lore. Might take a nap.